the supply and demand of a key raw material for high-tech production. I'm speaking today with Sadhna Gupta. She is Assistant Manager of Procurement Research with Aranca. Hello, Sadhna.
Hello, Robert.
Thank you very much for being with me. Let's talk about
My pleasure.
silicon metal specifically. What is going on with the price of silicon metal today?
So, Robert, the silicon metal, before I brief you regarding the price of silicon metal, I would quickly go through what exactly is silicon metal and how it is important as a key feedstock across multiple industries such as steel, aluminum, silicons, solar cells, and semiconductor.
Okay.
So, silicon metal is manufactured in a electric arc furnace at a temperature of 2000 degrees Celsius using raw materials like quartz, coal, and wood chips. The electricity cost contributes to more than 40% of the cost of production of silicon metal. The key variety grades which are available for silicon metal across the globe are ferrosilicon, metallurgical silicon, polysilicon, and electronic grade. So I'll quickly walk you through the type of grades so that we can understand as the price of silicon metal varies with respect to the type of grades and their purity levels.
Okay.
Right. So ferrosilicon is the lowest purity grade available for silicon metal. It is an alloy of iron and silicon with a purity level of below 90%. So this grade is primarily used in production of steel to improve the ductility of crude iron or deoxidized steel during the production process. So today, steel smelting remains the largest consumer of ferrosilicon across the globe. So this grade is also used for making heat and corrosion resistance ferrous silicon alloys, which are used to manufacture electromotors and transformer cores. The annual production of this particular ferrosilicon grade is around 8 to 9 million metric tons across the globe, of which China contributes to more than 70% of the production.
Okay.
The next grade, which is the metallurgical grade silicon, it has a purity level of 98 to 99% of pure silicon metal. The annual production of this grade is around 3 to 4 million metric ton, which again is majorly 80% is contributed by China. So the China provinces such as Xinjiang, Yunnan, and Sichuan are the provinces which are majorly contributing to the production of silicon metal, as these provinces have availability of raw material, which is coal, and they also have the availability of low-cost electricity. So this grade has multiple applications across industries like aluminum, silicons, and silanes, etc. 40 to 40% of metallurgical silicon grade is used for the production of aluminum alloys, which are used in automotive industry to make the car parts like engine blocks or steel wheels. So these parts are made of aluminum alloy with silicon, are more strong and lightweight as compared to the cast iron parts. Then followed by this, 36 to 38% of silicon metal is used to manufacture silicones or silanes, which is used as a insulating material in construction industry. It is used as a sealant or adhesive. Finally, the highest purity grade, which is 99.9999 till 11% of silicon pure grade, it is used for the manufacturing of solar cells. The annual production of polysilicon grade across the globe is around 2 million metric ton, of which China contributes to 1.2 million metric ton. And solar cells, which are built of silicon, they provide high efficiency, low cost, and extended lifetime. The modules are projected to have a lifespan of over 25 years while still providing more than 80% of the original power. Finally, less than 5% of the silicon metal, high purity silicon metal, is used to make electronic grade silicon, which is suitable for the semiconductor industry. And this is also called the monocrystal silicon, which is again very high purity grade silicon and as a substrate material used in the production of transistors, LEDs, ICs, and it can be virtually found in all computers, mobile phones, tablets, televisions, radios, and other modern communication devices.
Okay. Are you saying that
So,
this highest grade, this highest purity silicon metal is about 50% of it comes from China? I heard you say approximately. You said China.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So this highest purity grade, the capacity is around 2 million metric ton,
Mm-hmm.
of which 1.2 million metric ton is contributed by China.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you've just, that's the full range of grades of silicon metal that you just described to me, right?
Exactly.
So
Yes.
what is the pricing and what is affecting the pricing of those grades? I imagine that like many raw materials today, that there are some possible shortages or disruptions in supply. What is the situation with regard to supply and price?
Yeah. So the prices of silicon metal have been really volatile in the past 2 years. So to understand the scenario, I'll first discuss the scenario which was there in 2021 to 22. The prices of silicon metal, they surged by 3 to 4x as compared to what the price levels were in 2020, majorly driven by the limited supply and increase in demand of silicon metal across multiple industries. Now, the production of silicon metal is an, as we just discussed, is an energy intensive process wherein more than 40% is contributed by the electricity. Now, in 2021 to 2022, what happened is that energy rationing in China was there and increased energy cost in Europe. Both these factors, they had a negative impact on the total global supplies of silicon metal. Further, increased demand of silicon metal for multiple applications and including solar cells, they contributed to the price rise. If we talk about the detailed price, the price of metallurgical grade silicon, it increased by 3x, that is to US 6,000 to 9,000 metric ton in 2022 from US dollars 2,000 to 3,000 in 2021. Further, the prices of high purity silicon grade, which is used for semiconductor industry and solar cell industry, it increased by 4x, that is to US dollar 35,000 to 40,000 metric ton in 2022 from around 9 to 10,000 metric ton in 2021. So, as we discussed, the increase in prices were majorly driven by the supply deficit, which started in the industry, which was impacted by the electricity regulations imposed in China, which is being the leading producer of silicon metal across the globe.
Okay.
And obviously, the increased energy cost in Europe. So,
Have
to
there
elaborate, yeah,
have
please
there
go ahead.
been efforts or will there be, do you see efforts to diversify the supply of silicon metal around the world so that manufacturers are not quite so dependent on China?
Yes, so China, as I mentioned, China is contributing to around 80% of the production of silicon metal,
Yeah.
followed by around 15% contributed by Europe, then around 10% contributed by Brazil, and finally North America, that's US.
Mm-hmm.
So there are China plus one. If you look at the China plus one strategy for sourcing silicon metal, so silicon metal can be sourced from countries other than China in Asia, like Malaysia, which can be a destination for Asian countries to source silicon metal apart from China. And if we talk about locations in North America or nearing North America, Brazil is a alternative source to source silicon metal. However, Brazil has more of milky quartz available. Now, silicon metal, as I mentioned, can the raw material for silicon metal is quartz. So Brazil has the source of milky quartz, which is required to manufacture high purity silicon grade. So what I'm trying to say is that the industries which require silicon metal of high purity grade, so they can obviously source silicon metal from countries like Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
wherein there are leading players like Rima, then Minas Ligas, and uh, other players who are, supplying silicon metal. And it more than 80% of the export from Brazil is exported to US.
I see.
And
But
one of
yeah.
our Yeah.
But
Yeah,
China
please go.
has such a commanding share of the lower grade, lower purity silicon metal. Do you see that as perhaps changing? Other countries stepping up to produce a larger share, thereby manufacturers would be relying somewhat less on China and diversifying and strengthening their supply chains as a result.
Yeah, so China has availability of higher purity grades as well, and
Mhm.
China is definitely planning to increase their production capacity for high purity grade silicon metal as well. As I just mentioned, so China currently has production levels for high purity grade to around 1.2 million metric ton, and by end of 2024, they are expecting it to increase to 2.4 million metric ton annually for
Mhm.
high purity grade.
So they're going
And
to continue to be, China's going to continue to be a commanding source then.
exactly,
You don't see
yes,
that as changing
exactly.
that much. Well, how do you
No.
see, Sadhna, how do you see the outlook for pricing and availability of silicon metal through this year, 2023 and beyond?
So yes, so now there is a recovery in price. So prices are settling down. But the reason for this is, one is that the initially in year 2021, the major suppliers in China, they were forced to do production cuts because of the regulations which were imposed. So due to which the supplies were impacted. However, now the production rates have improved. So the supply has recovered in China. That's one reason. And another reason is that across the globe, the suppliers, they are planning to increase production capacity. Currently, the expected increase in production capacities are of around 1 to 1.5 million metric ton across the globe, wherein definitely more than 50% is expected in China, followed by a few companies in Europe and in US as well. Like Ferro has a plan to expand another furnace in US, and which will add to a production capacity of 20,000 metric ton. Then Elkem has also planned a plant in Norway. So there are companies across the globe who are planning to increase the production capacity. However, it will be definitely led by China.
Okay. Well, Sadhna
Yeah.
Gupta of Aranca, I want to thank you so much for explaining to us the source and the trends and the importance of silicon metal in manufacturing on a global basis. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for being with me.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert.